There's a truth no one told you when you were young, a truth they hid from you, not because they didn't want you to know it, but because most men never earned the right to hear it. It's this: the difference between a woman who tolerates you and a woman who can't stop thinking about you is how deeply you can take her, where even she hasn't gone before. I'm not speaking of just the body, I'm speaking of the mind, the soul, the ancient fire buried under her ribs. Most men never learn that women do not fall for the man who simply finishes her. They fall for the man who awakens her, who makes her feel something she didn't know she could feel. That awakening can happen through conversation, through presence, through the way you look at her without a single word. But when it comes to intimacy, the body is the doorway, and most men walk through it like blind men in a palace. Women carry 6 hidden keys inside them, 6 distinct peaks of pleasure, and most men only ever stumble upon 1 or 2 by accident. The rest remain locked, forgotten, or left for another man to discover. This is why so many women stay in relationships yet fantasize about someone else. This is why a woman can seem cold to her husband, but burn with desire for a stranger, because she knows deep down he doesn't even know the map exists. You've been told that sex is natural and you'll figure it out, but that's a lie designed to keep you average. Excellence in the bedroom isn't an accident, it's mastery. It's understanding her nervous system, her psychology, her fears, and her fantasies. It's knowing the timing, the rhythm, the patience, and the moments to break all the rules. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The secret of life is not to chase pleasure, but to command it." This is where most men fail. They chase their own satisfaction without ever learning to command hers, and in doing so, they never reach and pay her depths. They never leave their name written on the walls of her memory. If you understand these 6 realms, if you learn to unlock them one by one, you will not just be a man to her, you will be the man, the one her body remembers long after her mind tries to forget. The first key is the clitoral orgasm. It's the one most men know about, and the one they think is the pinnacle. But here's the truth. It's the most superficial. Yes, it's intense. Yes, it can make her toes curl. But it lives on the surface. It's like sipping wine without ever swallowing. If you stop here, she'll enjoy it, but she won't remember you, not in the way you want. What most men don't grasp is that the clitoris isn't just a button. It's part of a network. It's like the spark plug in a powerful engine. You can press it, rub it, overstimulate it, but without understanding her entire arousal pathway, you're only turning the key halfway. In the hands of an impatient man, the clitoral orgasm becomes a quick trick. In the hands of a master, it becomes the opening of a door to something deeper. This is where psychology enters. Women, unlike men, cannot detach the body from the mind when it comes to intimacy. Her brain is scanning everything: the tone of your breathing, the weight of your hands, the steadiness of your presence. If she senses you're rushing, if she senses your focus is only on getting her off, she will unconsciously close the gates. She may still climax, but it will be shallow and forgettable. The man who understands this does not treat the clitoral orgasm as the end game. He uses it to build anticipation, to create a feedback loop of trust and desire. He knows when to give her that peak and when to pull back, to hold her on the edge until her mind can't tell the difference between craving and madness. Marcus Aurelius spoke often of restraint, not as denial, but as power. In intimacy, restraint is your weapon. Any man can push her over the edge. The rare man can keep her there suspended, trembling, begging without words for you to take her further. That's when the clitoral orgasm stops being just a release and starts being the ignition to an unforgettable night. Remember this: the first key is only a key. Don't live in the doorway. Open it, then lead her inside. The second key is the G-spot orgasm. Most men have heard of it, but almost none have truly mastered it. They approach it like a myth or a gimmick, something to find rather than something to awaken. This is where they fail. The G-spot is not just a physical location, it's an emotional trigger buried inside her body. When you touch it right, you're not just giving her pleasure, you're unearthing something primal. The G-spot lives about 2 inches inside on the front wall of the vagina, but you won't find it by poking around like you're searching for coins in a couch. It responds to pressure, rhythm, and above all, connection. Inexperienced men attack it too quickly, trying to make her squirt as if that's the trophy. But the truth is, the G-spot is the key to vulnerability. It can unlock emotions she didn't know she had. I've seen women laugh uncontrollably, cry softly, even cling to a man like a lifeline when this part of them is reached with care. Here's what most men miss. The G-spot orgasm is as much about trust as it is about touch. A woman will only truly surrender here when her nervous system feels safe. That means your energy, your tone, and your breathing all must be calm and certain. If she feels you're chasing a goal, she'll tighten up. But if she feels you're exploring her like an ancient temple, patient and reverent, she'll let you in. And when she does, this is where her body begins to associate you with something rare. You've now crossed from pleasure into bonding. A well-timed G-spot climax floods her with oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It ties you into her on a chemical level. Even if she doesn't want to, she will feel drawn to you afterward. It's biology. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you touch her G-spot with mastery, you dye her memories with you. You become the standard she measures other men against. This is not about control, it's about leaving a mark deeper than skin. The second key isn't flashy, it's not for amateurs, but once you turn it, the rest of the palace starts to open itself to you. The third key is the blended orgasm, the fusion of clitoral and G-spot pleasure at the same time. This is where the mind begins to lose its grip on reality. Most men never bring a woman here because it requires control, patience, and precision that they simply haven't trained for. This is not about speed or aggression, it's about weaving 2 separate rivers into a single unstoppable flood. When a woman experiences a blended orgasm, her body isn't just feeling, it's overwriting. Neural pathways are lighting up in her brain, telling her, this is rare, this is safe, this is mine. You become the one her subconscious wants to return to, and that's dangerous, not for her body, but for her heart. Because when you give her this, you become an addiction. The challenge for most men is coordination. They either focus too much on one sensation, losing the other, or they rush the process, overwhelming her without allowing her to build toward it. A true master teases both points until her body can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Imagine lighting 2 fires and feeding them slowly until they merge into a roaring blaze. That's the blended climax. But here's the truth. It's not just skill, it's timing. She must already be fully in her body, fully trusting you. If you try too soon, you'll miss the chance. But if you wait until her breathing is deep, her body is open, and her mind is gone, you can pull her into a place she's never been. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In the bedroom, this translates to control the frame, not the outcome. Your presence is the anchor that allows her to drift into this chaos without fear. She'll surrender because she feels you are there, holding the storm in your hands. A blended orgasm is more than pleasure. It's identity shaping. Afterward, she doesn't just remember that she climaxed. She remembers you as the man who took her there. She will replay it in her mind for years, even if she never speaks of it. And that memory is the tether that keeps her wanting more. The fourth key is the cervical orgasm, the deepest, rarest, and most misunderstood of them all. Most men will never even get close to giving it because it requires more than physical reach. It demands emotional depth. This is not a casual pleasure. This is the kind of climax that can make a woman see you differently forever. The cervix is the gate to her womb, the very core of her feminine being. Touching it wrong can cause pain. Touching it right can cause a release so profound that it shakes her to her soul. But here's the truth. Her body will only allow this level of access when she is fully and completely open to you, physically and emotionally. Her nervous system must feel zero threat. Her heart must trust you, and her mind must have surrendered days before you even touch her there. When done right, the cervical orgasm doesn't explode. It unfolds. It's slow, rolling, and all-consuming. She may tremble, she may cry, and she may hold you with a force that feels like she's afraid to lose you. This isn't just because it feels good. It's because her body associates this sensation with primal safety, with creation, with the deepest intimacy possible between a man and a woman. You're not just inside her body, you're inside the part of her that defines her womanhood. This is why some women, after experiencing a true cervical climax, find it impossible to move on from the man who gave it to them, not because of lust, but because their subconscious ties him to a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's not something she can replicate with a toy, and it's not something she'll stumble upon with another man who doesn't understand her on every level. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive." In her world, after you've taken her here, she will wake with that same thought, but about you, that you exist, that you touched her in a way that no one else dared to or cared to. But understand this, the cervical orgasm is not for every night. It's a gift, not a routine. Use it sparingly, or it loses its magic. When given with reverence, it can make you unforgettable. When abused, it becomes just another memory. The fifth key is the anal orgasm. It's taboo for many, desired by more than will ever admit it, and almost always misunderstood by men. For her, this is not just physical, it's psychological. It's about surrender. The area is rich with nerve endings connected to deep pelvic pleasure. But without the right frame, it can feel invasive or wrong. That's why the men who rush into it destroy any chance of it becoming a source of connection. When approached with patience, care, and the slow build of trust, the anal orgasm can create a level of intimacy she will never speak about, but will feel in her bones. It's a place she doesn't share with just anyone. If she lets you in and you give her pleasure there, you've crossed into a level of exclusivity that binds her to you in ways she can't fully explain. It's not just about stimulation, it's about the psychology of having touched where no one else can. The sixth key is the full-body orgasm. This is not tied to a single point. It's when you've lit up so many parts of her that the orgasm spreads like a wave through her entire nervous system. Her legs, her back, her scalp, everything tingles and contracts. This only happens when her mind is completely gone, when she is so in the moment that time disappears. And here's the truth, it's less about what you do in the final moments and more about how you've built her up from the very beginning. Every kiss, every whisper, every stroke has been priming her for this. A full-body orgasm is transcendence. It blurs the line between sex and meditation, between lust and love. It can leave her dazed, quiet, even unable to look at you for a few moments because the intensity is overwhelming. And once she's had it with you, she will compare every future man to that standard, and most will fail. Marcus Aurelius said very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself for Timothy. This means you don't need 100 tricks, you need mastery of a few truths. The 6 orgasmic keys are not about manipulation, they are about unlocking her potential, showing her the depths she's capable of, and guiding her there without ego. Because once you've opened all 6 doors, she will never forget who held the keys.